Okay, so in our second word problem today, we have the information that Jack read 5 times as long this week as he did last week. If he read for 110 minutes this week, how long did he read for last week? So the first thing I'm going to do is take you to my screen. Normally I would like to solve this with some beads, but I think I'm going to use the stamp game. However, there's some important information that we need to know. So first we have to ask ourselves, what do we know? Well, we know that Jack read 110 minutes this week, and that is 5 times longer than last week. So we know the number of minutes he read this week, and we could probably solve for last week by saying a number times 5 is 110 minutes. So we have this equation here from what we know from this word problem. And the word how many times is really what clued us in to do the multiplication problem. And we can solve it that way, but we also know that multiplication and division come in families. So we also could look at it this way. What we need to solve is we need to solve for the number of minutes that he read the week before or last week. And that's 5 times less than this week. So here's where we could use our families. We have multiplication above, but we could flip it and take the 110 minutes he had this week and divide it by 5, right? The opposite of this, and still find our solution. So that's what we're going to do on our second piece. So I have 110 minutes laid out here with my stamp game, and then I have my division set up here. My units are 5, and I need to be able to distribute equally, right? I need to be able to distribute equally. I'm actually going to move these guys up so I have lots of room because we might see more than we think in here. Okay, so I have my decurion set up over here, and I've got 5 of those. So there's 110 minutes that we're going to divide between these 5. So remember that if we give 100, we need to give 100 to all of these, and I don't have 100 to give to all of these. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is make an exchange. So I'm going to put my 100 back in exchange for 10 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So instead of my 100, I have 10 tens, which is still 100, but now I have enough to give to each, I call them men, each man individually, and they all get the same amount. It's division, that's what we want to accomplish. All right. And I'm going to see how many times I can do that until perhaps I run out. When I run out, we might have to consider some exchanges. So, all right, I divvied out my tens. I have 1 10 left. That's not enough to give 1 to each. So now I can exchange this 10 for 10 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I can try and give these out equally. Remember, each man gets the same amount. Each of them are units. And then the answer in division, or the quotient, is the answer in division. And so our quotient is what 1 gets. And it worked out beautifully. And so when we say in division, or our quotient is what 1 gets, we're going to look at what this 1 gets. So we have 10, 20, 21, 22. So that means that our answer to this equation is 22. So last week, he read for 22 minutes, and this week he read 5 times longer, which is 110 minutes. So now we have solved our equation. The answer is last week, Jack read 22 minutes.